documenting the collapse of life as we know it, as perpetrated by the global military-industrial complex. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Ronald Show, Ronald. All right, hi, welcome back to the Ronald Show. Now, this is the part of the whole show where things get a little bit scary, because there's a major truth looming over the planet right now, and that is total financial and physical collapse of the planet, of life as we know it. And that's what we're talking about on the Ronald Show, is the decline or the collapse of life as we know it. So here's the situation. Today it's February 21st, President's Day, 2011, Monday, and about 8 hours ago a major volcano erupted in the Philippines, sending huge dust clouds into the air, evacuating 48 schools and thousands of people around the surrounding area because of toxic air. So look, here's what I'm telling you. This is right now. This is starting to happen right now. The volcano went off today. There was just major earthquakes in California. We're about to get hit with major solar storms, which are being predicted at the same rate as the possibility that we were hit by Katrina. This predictions are happening now, and they are grim predictions. The entire political system is going to be dethroned in such a way that it's going to be a bloodbath in the streets of civilians uprising globally and taking over major military bases, government buildings, and underground military bases that are hiding all of the secrets that the world government or the powers that be have been keeping from the citizens of the earth for our entire life. Before I was born. I'm 42. So that's where we're headed. That is where we're headed. And let's talk about preparation. Mass floodings and earth changes are going to happen right now in 60 days to 90 days from now. The dollar is going to crash. Food prices are going to go up. Atmospheric flooding is going to happen right up through Texas, and there's going to be food and water shortages throughout the United States, along with massive flooding that we have never encountered before, and that is going to totally change the emotion of the human psyche on planet Earth. We are going through a change. There's going to be a lot of death. People are going to die. I think the most important thing is maintaining cohesion, infrastructure, and a sense of reason about where we're headed as a planet and a species. So that's why one of the keys to the show is also to talk about meditation and global thinking. We can harness our global thinking through strategic meditative moments as a planet and species. And we have to keep it together electronically, because we're about to get hit with geomagnetic changes in planet Earth from the core through the magnetosphere that are going to shut down phones, cars, electricity, everything, every way of communication that you've become reliant upon and accustomed to. Standing right here, right now, tell me the phone number of your best friend. If you can't dial it, how are we supposed to communicate? So we have to pick places and areas, and it's good to be prepared now. We have 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 hours in the Philippines if you're below the mountain that just exploded today. So this is happening right now. And there's going to be big hits along the way that are going to throw everybody into a panic. But it doesn't have to be that way, because meditation is one of the keys that we can use as a species to make it through this trial that we're going to go through 2012 and into 2013 and into 2014. And they're saying that the food patterns and areas are going to be wiped out and changed in such a way that it's going to affect food sources for the next 84 years. And these underground bases have food stores, and they are going to survive the extreme radiation. They have food stores underground, underneath the Antarctic, which is about to crack in half for them, and is ready to grow and become a location. Things are centered in the Antarctic area because the polarities of the Earth are going to change too. So we're talking about extreme change. All right. When we get back, I'm going to talk to you about preparation and the economy, money, and safe locations that you need to think about picking your strategic areas to move to based on where you are. I'm in Florida, right on the coast, the east coast of Florida, in Palm Bay, Florida, just south of Cocoa Beach, waiting to be slammed by a tidal wave within the next, within the next 6 weeks, because of what we're going to talk about when we come back is atmospheric flooding. Atmospheric flooding, which is just huge deluges of water, okay, that take out hundreds of square miles of coastline and even gut out like 60 and 70 miles into that coastline, just washing everything away. So there's millions of people, probably 1 billion people worldwide, that are going to be like instantly fucked in 6. There are going to be people worldwide that are going to be instantly, dead. Really. And that's, hey, that's the worst it gets. Until you find out where you're going to when you do die. And those secrets are in those military bases. The soul, where our species originated, what planet. I mean, come on, there is so much information now out there. And there are archives, videos, footage that are held underneath the Vatican in Italy, which is going to get raided by the end of 2011 because this is happening now. So here's how you can prepare, and this is going out very quickly virally because it's important, very important. And right now, one of our primary means of communication is probably going to be the internet, which probably has a nice hardwire subterranean, However, electromagnetically, we're kind of screwed. So there's a prediction that has been made, and we're going to talk about that in the show, by a predicting machine that statistically is accurate at a high percentage and is telling a lot of facts that actually now the hard evidence is pointing to. And it's boom, boom, boom. It's like clockwork. So we're going to talk about the planetary psyche when we get back. Okay, we're back. Welcome back to the Ronald Show. The Ronald Show. Documenting the collapse of life as we know it. Not the end of the world. The planet's not going to split in half unless we're slammed into by planet Nibiru, which is where the asteroid belt in our solar system, came from. Slammed by a planet or an asteroid from Nibiru and just shattered it. Like Jim Morrison says, no one here gets out alive. It's true. So really, there's nothing to worry about. So the basic way to do this is to look at the facts. And the facts are that the situation physically on the planet is going to spark a complete revolution and change of life as we know it. the destruction, downfall of mankind and our political system and our monetary system as we know it. That doesn't mean that it's coming to an end. In fact, we're definitely going to survive this. I mean, that's already a given because there are structures in place that are fully stocked with food, water, nuclear power, running on state-of-the-art nuclear generators, 55,000 square feet of everything that you need to survive a catastrophic global event is right here on the planet, actually. We have the technology to drill down, build these bases, and they exist, and they are there. And I have proof. It's totally true. I mean, come on, look what we've done with technology. We've gone to the moon. It should be no biggie to dig into the earth. I mean, you know, it's just the same thing as being a caveman, only our tools are better. And that's what it comes down to, is technology. So we have the technology to save a lot of people. But we also need to find out who's worth saving. You know, do you really want to go hang out with George Bush in a bunker? You know, and listen to him talk bullshit, wired up on cocaine and drunk on booze and, you know, showing his reptilian eyes and morphing into some type of a being that is beyond your imagination. And it's beyond your imagination because your imagination is really not your imagination. It actually has been created for you by forces that are not you. I mean, can you look at yourself as a human being and say you know who you are? And the secrets of who you are not secrets. It's actual true information, and the truth is out there, like it says in the X-Files. The truth is out there, and it is in these underground bases, being controlled and kept secret by the global military-industrial complex and the powers that be, and the powers that soon will be called the powers that were, who used to be, because there's a power struggle, and it's going to go in one direction or the other, or it's going to break off for a while. It's going to get crazy. Things are definitely going to become totally different than life as you know it. We've been sitting around getting fat, dumb, and happy on electronic gadgets that are designed to poison our minds and make us sit in front of a box and feed, like a battery from the Matrix, a human battery from the Matrix, this machine that we have no idea, you know, there's 7 billion people on this planet. And like, of those 7 billion people, there's probably only a few thousand, or maybe a million entities on this planet that know what's really going on, or maybe even a million, 2 million. But they're not going to be sitting up here on the surface of the earth while all hell commences to break loose right now in this crazy time. I can't even believe I was, born for this, but we're all here together. And so there's certain ways you can go through it, and we're going to talk about that. When we get back, we're going to talk about getting through it. Who's going to get through it? And then you can decide if you want to be one of those who that is going to get through it and see what it's going to be like come 2014, 15, 16. And like I said earlier, the food sources and food distribution is going to be affected for the next 84 years is what the actual date of prediction is, like 4 generations of us. So I am going to be, there's also sources on longevity too and food, and we're going to discuss different things about health, longevity, the subconscious mind, and what's actually possible as a human being, or what we perceive as a human being. Because I've got information that shows that we're not actually physical, we're light energy being perceived through these physical senses that are also an illusion, because we're not really solid, although we perceive ourselves to be, but we live in a 2-dimensional world being transcribed in our mind by our soul entity as a 3-dimensional experience. So we have the capability to control that reality through thought, and the majority of the thinking, which has been controlled by a psychological operations campaign and propaganda machine of the United States government corporation, as long along with the City of London, which is its own entity that controls the law and banking system planet-wide, and is also a source of underground information. And that is actually the seat of the powers that be, the city in London. And its major storage centers for information are at the Vatican, the Catholic Church, Vatican in Rome, which is where a lot of technology is. And recently a lot of it's been taken from the United States, from out of desert bases, and is part of the major base that is north of Washington, D.C. and Maryland, the underground base, government base there. And then there's also Denver International Airport. 2.5 miles down below Denver International Airport, there is a 55,000 square mile facility that operates on 3 nuclear generators that operate on a mercury isotope. I have proof of that. And what is going to happen soon is actually the government now is going to be falling under so much pressure, because there's going to be a physical raid on the global assets right now that people are actually considering taking up arms, and it's being predicted that there's going to be a mass global insurrection. So that is the way things are headed. But I'm here in sunny Florida, and I'm outside instead of being back in the studio right now just to listen to the peace. You would never know anything's going on standing out here. So that's going to actually wind up happening. There's going to be a disengaging because of the electrical shutdown of our media and information resources. So if you can see this now and take immediate action and get to where you need to go and gather the resources that you need to survive, then there's a good possibility that you might see what happens. And your kids, I got a 4-year-old niece and a 2-year-old nephew and a 1-year-old nephew. I'd like to see them live 84 years, get through it. It's going to be interesting. I know we all came here for a purpose, and this is some kind of a existence that it's certainly turning out to be historic. I mean, I can't imagine what our history books are going to read 100 years from now when we come out of this mess and we've met intelligences from beyond our current physical perception that exist around and within us at various frequencies from various planes of existence and through that travel through instantaneous teleportation to our exact location, time-wise and geophysically within the existence of the solar system and the Milky Way galaxy, which someone is starting to point out that this possibly is just an illusion, and there's something that exists outside of the universe itself that really encompasses what true reality is, and that this is just some kind of a crazy game. So we can treat it like a game, and that's why I really have decided to just focus my attention on delivering the truth through a show that is not propaganda. That is what I really believe to be. I am pouring out as the heartfelt truth of how we need to prepare. I mean, why question this information? So let's talk about it. Okay. Alright, so we're back. And this is the Ronald Show, talking about the collapse of life on this planet as we know it. There's really not much time to do anything other than prepare. So let's go through the most important things first, and that's preparation. Everybody will need to have stored at least 2 years. I would say to really give yourself a fighting chance, give yourself at least 1 year for everybody in your family to have food and water. So store that now. because you're going to have to store it one where you're going to have to get it, so get as much as you can now. I would say stop paying any bills. Save all of your money this month, February and March, and every time you get money in your pocket, go to the store and buy long-term supplies like cases of water, and long-term storage foods like cases of mayonnaise. Go to Sam's, go to BJ's, go to Walmart, get mayonnaise. I've got proteins and carbohydrates and fats. You're going to need calories, and it doesn't have to be refrigerated, so stuff like that. Canned food. Get a hand operating, a hand operating can opener, because you're not going to be able to be 100% reliant upon electricity. So it's going to be more physical. Hey, you're going to get off your ass, and you're going to get away from the boob tube, and you're going to wind up getting in shape. Consider it the Armageddon diet. So let's talk about health and nutrition. We're talking about the Armageddon diet, the apocalypse diet, the rapture diet, call it what you will. It's a total extinction level event that we're about to all go through. So you're going to lose weight, and, you'll probably come out a lot more healthier in the end, because everybody's wrapped up in the media propaganda scheme that has created stress and ill health and left us reliant on somebody other than ourselves. I mean, we should, as individuals, become self-reliant, 100%. You're born here, suck your mother's tit for, a couple of years, and then learn about stuff. The monetary system is what has caused the entire predicament that we're in for ourselves. We've actually given away power through somebody else's creation of the monetary system. So that is going to collapse anyway. The dollar is going to die. Let's talk about what is going to happen. The dollar is going to die at the end of March 21st, around that area. There's going to be 3 days of media about how it dies, and we're all going to sit and go, okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that suddenly you buy less for your dollar. But jobs have been lost now, and mass layoffs are happening because there's some major catastrophes that suddenly rock the government and take out the headquarters of your building. So now you don't have any food or way to process the money from your checking account. So you don't have cash, and the banks suddenly fail, and now you don't have enough food and water, and your power goes out. So now you have you lose water and power. So the first thing you have to do is get all the food and water that you can and get it ready 1 year for each person in your house. Okay, so that's rule number 1. And rule number 2 is decide if you are living in the proper location. Meaning, if you're on a coastal area that's about to get hit by flooding, and I'm going to go over that later on in the show, the PowerPoints, I'm going to say, here's the map. If you're here, you should be here. If you're like on the east coast of the United States or in Florida, you should maybe go into the mountains of Pennsylvania and South Carolina, the Midwest, away from the Gulf of Mexico, because it's about to get wiped out. Don't go to Mexico, eastern Mexico, maybe southwest Mexico, or Latin America. Okay, but it's about to get fucked in the United States. So wherever you are, you want to get to high grounds, as far away from coastal areas to the highest ground you can get to. Look at a map. Go to high ground, as far away from any water as possible. Pick that. It's like the center of the United States, around there. But there's going to be major issues with water and transportation soon, because these floodings are about to happen very soon. Very soon, because of and then there's going to be geomagnetic activity. I mean, we're getting a whole bunch of things happening at the same time, and there's a critical mass going on the planet regardless of it. You just saw the rioting in the streets of Egypt. That just happened. I mean, they were out fighting sticks and stones and bottles and flames and rubber bullets and police and looting, and they dethroned a politician, and the military took over. Well, hey, that's coming to your town soon. That is coming to your town soon. So, thank you for watching the Ronald Show. We're talking about what is coming to your town soon, and that is the recent dethroning of the Egyptian government and takeover by the military like last week. And the volcano blew up today. So that's coming to your town soon. And you want to be prepared. So what, like we said, food and water. And you got to get to a high area away from a coastline no later than 30 days from now. You got to be away from the coastline into safety. So I would get all my stuff packed up right now and get immediately on the road. Okay? So that's totally where I'm coming at with that, is immediate action. And I don't want to sound like a sense of urgency. I'm actually taking immediate action, so I'll be making this show on the road. And I will be going to the safest location, and I'm going to pick that location soon. And I'm also going to tell you that you have to take action now. And I want you to go to the Facebook website, Global Meditation, facebook.com/global meditation. I want you to go to the website, facebook.com/Ronald Farnham, and join the movement and join the show. And I want feedback from everybody who sees this on where you're going and what you're doing. Okay? All right. When we get back, I'm going to talk about the information that you're going to need to know regarding what's going to happen in the next 2 years. We'll be right back after this important message. We'll be right back with the Ronald Show right after this commercial. Oh, and hey, listen. Sometimes I'm talking to you. Sometimes I'm talking to the camera. So we'll be right back after the Ronald Show, after this. So here's more of what I'm talking about. If you think that you are going to make it through this, I want you to send me a comment on my Facebook page, Ronald Farnham, Farnham. It's right there at the bottom. And I want you to let me know what your plans are, where you're going and what you're doing. And also, if you live near one of the major military bases that I mentioned, please let me know what the feeling on the street is there, and I'll talk about it on the show. And this will be ongoing. All right, when we get back. Okay, go ahead. All right, cool. Keep going where you're from. I was listening. Okay. This report is called the Bot Report. Here's what it says. For those of you who are not familiar with the WebBot project, here is a brief history of what it is. Originally designed to track stock market pricing and sector trending, the WebBot uses a system of spiders that crawl the internet looking for patterns of behavior, trends, and chatter pertaining to coming events. This tool is believed to be able to forecast the future by tapping into the collective subconscious of society. The project has predicted some amazing things. Most people agree that statistically speaking, it is far more accurate than chance. I have attached a copy of the latest 2011-12 Trending Analysis Report by Cliff High, the man behind the project. And the project is right here. It's called The Shape of Things to Come, Volume 0, Issue 9, Data Set Analysis, Asymmetric Language, Trend Analysis, Interpretation of the Predictions for 2011 and 2012 by Cliff High, halfpasthuman.com. Copyright 2010, all rights reserved. He wrote this paper, and here's his disclaimer in the paper. This forecast is real. Now, this is him speaking as he believes this. This forecast is real. A person would still be an idiot to make decisions based solely on their interpretation of my interpretation of strange data patterns. Universe rewards thinking. Everyone should try it for themselves at least once. Now would be a good time. It does not hurt as much as you might think. Okay, so thinking actually does hurt a bunch, but still, you must do it. The times demand some cogitation. Okay, try to avoid group thinking thoughts. It is a poor substitute for personal, individual thinking and has proven to be fattening. All right, filled with empty calories of no nutritional value and causes much stinky gas to vent from the mouth. That's his disclaimer in the beginning of the report. So he talks about the meta arts. So I did an analysis of the first 40 pages of this. It's a 49-page document. And I wrote a few words on each concept that he talks about that's about to happen. And I've summarized it into 7 pages, and I'm just going to read the 7 pages to you.
Yeah. Could you pop it?
Political suicides as corruption based on the Iraqi dinar valuation is going to ensue, and you're going to see why. Central bank has hoarded all of the gold and possibly other precious metals because a lot of shit's about to happen. Pharmaceutical drug supply reduction. That means because of bad transportation due to road outages and severe weather, people aren't going to be able to get their medication. And so if you're in the 20 to 40 range, and you're still healthy, you'll make it through this. But a lot of people over 55 are going to fucking die. Okay? Lies from the government in 2011. Lies from the government in 2011. This is what he talks about austerity. And austerity being like this happening and becoming a trendy. The government will intentionally try to make Americans believe that less resources are available by half-empty delivery trucks blaming the lack of resources on the market, yet the powers that be are intentionally making a psychological campaign of austerity, lack of resources. Austerity means a lack of resources, and blaming it on the economy, when they are really shifting resources and possibly diverting foodstuffs and water supplies to underground bunkers in preparation for things like the collapse of life on this planet as we know it, caused by a lot of factors like the geomagnetic forces, solar flares, power outages, and a huge cracking of the Antarctic that's going to cause a major deluge of water and planet-wide, along with volcanic activity that's going to cause a mini ice age and freeze everything. So the dollar is going to collapse. That's what they're talking about. They're going to talk about how there's scarce food resources and the dollar is going to collapse. Diverting food and water supplies, they're going to be bringing food and water underground instead of putting it on your shelves. And this is going to happen when? Just after the dollar collapses. And the dollar is going to collapse on March 21st, 2011. So it's going to collapse in 4 weeks. The dollar is going to collapse. And we're going to go through, it's predicting a 3-day period of digesting the information and going, okay, listening to the rhetoric on TV, because that's what we're used to right now, which is going to drastically change. And food becoming scarce and very, very expensive with a devalued dollar. So if there is going to be a run on food starting at the very end of March, beginning in February, when 3 weeks later after the dollar dies, on March, in April 15th, probably tax day, everyone's going to take their tax money and run to the store and start buying everything that they can. And there's going to be a run on everything. And that's going to happen April 15th, April 16th. So you want to get your shit before April 15th, otherwise you're going to have to kill for it possibly, or be killed trying to get it. So the time is to take all your resources right now and start spending them on food and water supplies and then deciding where you're going to live. So, warning from the government in 2011, solar flares and UFOs. A Washington, D.C. nationally televised press conference is going to happen about one thing. They're going to have a press conference about something, and it's going to suddenly shift when a general takes the stage and warns the world about the sun and the cooking of the planet. During the press conference, the generals get angry. He also gets angry at questions about space alien intervention. The general will use the word disclosure. And even toward the subjects of aliens, but in general way and not in a here they are way. The media reports all of this in a bad news way, and things look bleak for the planet. The general will deny questions to the following: shadow government, service, reverse engineer technology, and they have it, and it will not fail. Okay? So there's going to be an announcement made here probably around the end of the month. They're looking at the end of May. There's global and U.S. famines become apparent. Atmospheric flooding. This is what I was talking about atmospheric flooding. Atmospheric flooding phenomena. It's flooding across the north and south of the north and southwest of America. So California and the whole west coast of the United States is going to get totally flooded out by what's called atmospheric flooding. And it's also going to happen in the central plains of the U.S. Major flooding that causes this. This is going to crush this is going to be the worst flooding disaster in American history, and it's about to happen. And it's going to cause a lot of damage. This is what the bot is predicting. That this is all about to happen based on all of the trends that it is seeing and the science, everything it's gathered off of the internet and parsed and processed. It predicts trends. It started out as a trend predictor for stocks and bonds and morphed into a predictor of human subconscious behavior and the way the Earth has been playing itself out. It predicted Katrina. News by TV and events within the story. Let's see. Atmospheric flooding is going to blast the United States into a famine and an economic and a life depression. Deaths are going to happen. Food, it's going to be crazy, and this is about to happen. Okay, news of the events by the TV and events within the story. Radiation alerts from the TV about space radiation and warnings. So there's going to be solar flares. And there's a huge hole right now that supports it. There's stories on here, I researched them about that NASA is talking about big holes in our magnetosphere, which is this 100 times the size of Earth ball of energy that protects us from the radiation of the sun, that has huge holes in it, and we're about to get hit by major rays because the magnetic core of the Earth is in a diminished state. So there's holes, and it's going to start. It talks about fires globally. Global fires due to solar and space radiation. Australia, China, Siberia, Central Canada, deep southern USA, Texas to California, and Louisiana to the Atlantic. South America and the Amazon. So there's going to be mass fires that are going to start burning all the dry areas of the planet. Droughts and famine worldwide in 2011 and 12 because of washed out and burned out crops throughout the planet due to extreme solar winds, flooding, and fires. Polar shifting and electromagnetic anomalies. Multiple magnetic poles will suddenly appear globally, causing chaos with all electrical devices, failures and explosions, possible physical pain, and nerve vibrations. This will cause actually physical pain for the human being. These electromagnetic forces are going to be so off-balancing. Shadow government reverse engineer technology will not fail. The government has technology beyond your imagination, and they control that information. Wandering south poles will cause many animal deaths and may also result in impaired cognition due to the extreme change in electromagnetic forces, electromagnetic anomalous zones that cause vehicles and electronic devices, satellites, and GPS communications not to work. These no-go zones will be on land and water, oceans, rivers, and lakes. Visually perceptible as centrally located hot fog electromagnetic banding. You'll be able to see in locations. It'll be foggy with bands. They'll sing hot fog. If you're out and about, you'll know if you can communicate or not. And we're in Florida, so we're going to talk about where we're going to go. Point of no return. News propaganda statements made by global news corporations regarding Earth changes. There's going to be a statement that comes out in the rhetoric it predicts called the point of no return. So look for that statement. 2011 Earth changes. Vast amounts of major and massive sinkholes taking roads, telecom buildings, cell towers, lakes, rerouting rivers, outpacing the media reporting at a rate of 4 to 1. It'll be happening, and they won't even be able to cover it fast enough because it's going to be like sinkholes. Major American reddish-brown river will change course, affecting water, land, and travel. It predicts a major river to change directions. 2011 floodings. A continuing instance of major floodings will happen throughout 2011, such as has already happened in Brazil, Australia, and the Philippines. This is the Brazil flooding that just happened. This is the Philippines flooding that just happened, and this is the Australian one. So these floodings are happening, and here is a volcano that erupted in the Philippines today. Loss of power and communications, and thousands of residents are displaced. Like, imagine all of a sudden we have nothing and we're out on the street now. Like, where do we go? What do we do? Our house was just flooded to nothing. Everything's gone. We don't even know where we're going to sleep. Hotels, everything's washed away, and you're trying to make it. So that's what they're going through, and these mountains that they've just been pulled out of that just landslid into nothing, and they're going like, where are we going? Loss of power and communications. The credibility and availability of news propaganda will move into scarcity and altogether will pale in comparison to the human condition that everyone will be focusing upon. So a lot of shit's going to get knocked out, and people are going to be like, well, we're just trying to live through today. Rivers of snow, a phenomenon where rivers of actual snow pour down from mountains, taking out buildings, roads, bridges, and everything in its path. It's predicting that based on the information, where we're going, anomalies, weather, the crazy weather patterns that we're experiencing, that it's pulling information from. Canadian gas lines severed due to mass rains and winds. Part of North America will be cut off due to shifting earth hills and mountains of mudslides and flooding. Air travel to the area is impacted by wind and rain. Major earth processes, magnetic shifts and processes resulting in earth changes are likely to continue for the next 84 years. They see this as like it's going to affect everybody for a long time. Global earthquakes causing new land to rise, existing land to crack and tear, resulting in changes in underground aquifers. Refugees will travel without travel or water and a cutoff to access points of shadow government underground bunkers. So at a certain point, if you can get it to them underground bunkers, you're safe, but at a certain point, those are going to be like shut down and cut off. Also affected will be the ability of currency flow due to technical failures. Also rising are the secrets revealing old dirt. They're going to start bringing out information about true technology, which is actually going to get us through 2011, like new electric technology that's about to explode onto the market. Fires and smoke. Fires from Europe will cause smoke problems in two major eastern cities during times of celebration occurring despite the smoke. This will also affect the secret space program. It's just a prediction. I don't know how to read that. Extreme cloud transformation. Like I said, I just deciphered what I read in very technical jargon to make it like bullet points. Extreme cloud formations currently... here we go. Extreme cloud formations. Extreme cloud formations currently beyond our known lexicon on the planet. Will experience gaseous and dangerous cloud formations and threaten human, animal, and plant life. They will also result in extreme temperature drops at a high altitude. Habitations, those temperature drops will be more or less permanent. We're in for a long-term shifting of the North Pole, basically, to where a new North Pole is going to come out of all this, too. The Antarctic ice is going to crack in half, causing sub-Antarctic volcanoes. Australia and New Zealand populations will be greatly affected by rising and falling land masses and volcanic activity. So it doesn't look good for a lot of Australia and New Zealand. A result will be southern oceanic coastal flooding and atmospheric rivers, again major flooding. Another result of the RIP will be Australia, Southern Africa, and Southern South America will experience atmospheric river drainage, a shortened monsoon season, and in India and Hind, as a result of atmospheric rivers, will contribute to planetary food shortages. So, like food sources are going to be running dry quick. So right now, we have to buy at least a year for each one of us and figure out where we're going to go. Overall, there's going to be earthquakes, floods, radical windstorms, and frozen land will become worsened by extreme coastal tidal flooding due to the changing of the oceans, currents, locations, rising seabeds. 2000 snow and ice storms, 2011 snow and ice storms. Sudden, shocking, misplaced, out of season, long duration, resulting in building cave in and the abandoning of parts of disrupted cities. So there's going to be mass evacuations. Personal enlightenment, this will spread globally and be created and led by an Irish thinker. This will peak in the summer of 2011. So they're talking about somebody who's going to take over and like lead the people in thought through this, and he's going to emerge in the summer of 2011. That's what they're saying is based on the spider crawl that this information is coming out about that. So somebody's going to start taking the reins and putting out good information. Genetic evidence, a sect of Irish people or persons will emerge with some type of genetic evidence regarding a mystery of origin. Also, they will make prevalent the Celtic cross, 2 sticks with the circle on the center as a measuring device. Free energy. In a little city in South Africa, now this is being predicted, a skinny black sword-laden man will invent a genius form of free energy, and the Zionists will attempt to discredit and control him. The free energy will propel South Africa forward from mid-2011 onward. So I would imagine that they're going to get a hold of some kind of energy. New energy is going to come forward in South Africa. There's going to be an attack on the Vatican, it's predicting. Citizens and victims of pedophilia perpetrated by the Vatican's kingdom of religious rule will attack Vatican buildings and commit assassinations of priests and bishops. Citizens are going to raid the Vatican and start killing.
Hi, Adrian.
Destruction of the Catholic Church is what it's calling for. Hold on. I'm reading this to them. Here, you got to listen to this. And listen good. So, church secrets are revealed. So, destruction of the Catholic Church, secrets revealed. The collapse of the USA social order and the collapse of the Catholic Church are a result of secrets revealed. So, something is going to cause them to lose total credibility with the people of the planet. Their reign is over, the Catholic Church. And all the secrets that they've been holding are going to come to light.
Like the rest of the books?
And whoever can live through this is going to benefit from those secrets coming forward and somehow technologically be helped by the secrets. Waiting on China, the global populace will await China's response as their decision-making involves how to relate to the powers that be. And how to, along with dealing with internal political and social revolt. So everyone's going to be waiting on China to make a decision. They're saying words like den of vipers, pit of snakes, these kind of like reptilian types of people they're saying. China will engage in a secret space war with the powers that be. China will suffer mass food shortages due to a crash in agriculture as a result of climate change. China will blame America for climate change in the wake of droughts and fires in a resource belt. By summer 2011, China will have space bases off-world. Chinese officialdom will be so consumed with space and will be based in and will monumentally dig for treasure in Kashmir, which is in India. Space and the hidden civilization, it predicts. Later in 2011, there will be a confrontation with the hidden civilization shadow security state. Global media will show that they have vast food and resource supplies as well as food production methods. Result, border power skirmish. European displaced Jews will travel to China from Europe because it's going to freeze there and they're going to run out of food. And they'll be on foot in 2011 and 2012 walking from Europe. We're trying to make it into China to safety where they have, high mountains and it's not flooded out and there's resources there. United States coastal areas, Gulf of Mexico, evacuation included. Tainted water and wind in areas for the disaffected. Aliens and the metaphysical. India will go public and begin discussing the Sanskrit text and opening up the secrets revealed further to discuss alien arrival. A female Bollywood India personality will go viral with evidence of extraterrestrial travel evidence of being taken. The Bollywood also has a connection to space and soil sister. Now this is kind of metaphysical stuff. Do you want to hear the metaphysical stuff? A female powers that were bonded personality will emerge to support the movement of truth, enlightenment, and help with food sources and archetype. Caveman personality will emerge from India that has power over material reality. Antarctic connections. The powers that be will attack the caveman with UFO technology and weapons. I'm not making this up. The caveman will be videoed doing something so impossible to believe, which will be viewed on the internet, that will be disregarded as fake until 2012. Now, people are going to start believing it for some reason. So it's predicting that metaphysical things are going to start happening that are going to show people that there's a different version of reality than what we've become accustomed to. Feminine scarring. Beware women. A makeup, this is a prediction, a makeup or cosmetic product will cause the scarring of millions of women starting in midsummer of 2011 based on some makeup that they're using. Result will be women wearing masks, tattoos, and shaved heads. That's a prediction that the bot project made. New breakthrough electronic devices. A rapid increase in new electronic technology unfolds in Africa, Siberia, and Canada. They are primarily aimed at China and Greater Asia. The person who designs thought process of this new electronic powered device is located in Canada. So the person who invents it is living in Canada. This is not a secret shadow government invention, which leaves the military shaking their heads wondering, why didn't we think of that? The Mason or secret society perpetrate a murder related to the new electronics. The murder shocks the nation and results in mass resignation of many from Mason hoodlumism. They're hoodlums, Masonic hoodlums. Many in the business world will be forced to lie and deny involvement in Masonism or secret sects. The Vatican financial corruption scandal is visible in the secret sect publicly. It's going to be publicly outed. The denials of secret sects by politicians and businessmen will affect their relationship with the Roman Catholic Church, which is going to collapse anyway. The media about the secret societies throws U.S. politics into chaos. And we're going to get to the mass riotings that are going to wind up with people being public officials and priests. Larry sent this to me. Population control. The powers that be will have a difficulty time explaining what is going on through their mass media and why they have not got a clue. In an effort to maintain control of the masses and prevent mass enlightenment as to the powers that be and their controlled human experiment, they will seek population control. The mass floodings in Florida, Texas, and Mexico will destroy food crops and create famine, extreme death, and mass relocation will be shown to be a plan designed by the powers that be. So they're saying that there might come to light that there's a manipulation with weather and earth patterns. I don't know how, though. This is pretty extreme. This will be a direct result of springtime effects in the Gulf of Mexico at the same time in the spring of 2011. So they're saying here that BP engineered this so that there would be toxic water and air because they want to kill Mexicans and Texans in that area with poison food and water based on the Gulf oil spill, and that it was planned. And they knew that this water shift is about to happen to flood out the area with pollution. So they're going to have a crackback because of this. There will be meltdown of the food delivery system because of the flooding that they're planning. Regarding the foods in the United States, there will occur a year or two long mass food poisoning that will cripple the national health infrastructure and cause retaliatory attacks by the people against the responsible officialdom and their minions. So the people are going to rise up and start killing politicians and corporate executives who were responsible for this because of the money and power. The dollar death. The dollar death will start around March 21st, 2011, so that's like 4 weeks from today. Today is February 21st. In 30 days, the dollar is going to be announced to be officially dead.
No, start.
This leads to a continued destruction of daily life in the United States through spring, summer, and winter of 2011 and all through 2012. This is going to result in civil unrest, riots, and armed insurrections. The mob action burns alive elite families and their minions. Mobs get together and they pull these guys out. And you know what? It already happens in South America with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. I used to write about it as an intelligence analyst. You know, guerrillas go into the politicians' home, they pull them out of their house, they string them up and their family by a rope upside down, and they execute them in the courtyard. And that happens like right now in Latin America. Can I have some more water? So.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
I'm looking at what they're doing.
Okay.
Oh,
So anyway, the public will feel like they have been raped by winter 2011. Out of the Social Security retirements will be accomplished through the raping of the rest in 2011. So The monetary system is going to collapse. Nobody's going to have food or money unless you store it now. The public will feel okay. They're predicting media reports of die-offs, so we can pause now because I'm going to get some water.